Join me for part 2 as we continue our interview with Ricky Baker, founder of Eastern Heroes, and learn more about his Bruce Lee journey. Also, hear our debate on whether the missing saw scene in Bruce Lee's movie The Big Boss was ever released on film or not, and much more.
Mr. Vampire, Rouge. So there was a lot going on there. So what happened was we then started to build on that, and then we come in touch with a company that were from Vinyl Solution, and they just sold a band called, it's terrible when your memory goes, S Express. And they had some loose money, and then their friend Jonathan come to us and said they want to get a label going. They want to do the first label. We were behind it. VHS, widescreen. Now widescreen
didn't exist. Yeah, no, back then.
And they were going to do it remastered subtitles, and we picked a series of titles, and we went to Hong Kong and we negotiated these titles to come out with this. And why they saw it was because the art house films with subtitles, and there'd been a very big hit with Cyrano de Bergerac. And that means that now the only times people in England was watching subtitled French films was if it was a soft porn film. They didn't have to read the subtitles. So they've come back to us and we've got this, and so now, and we've got the shows, and now we're doing this magazine, and I've done this show, so my name is becoming bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the time. And I have to say, none of this I could have done without Toby Russell. You know, you've got to give credit where credit's due. Toby spoke Cantonese. He was out there.
Now, was that your business partner at the time?
Yeah.
Are you still with him?
We're still good mates.
Okay, got you.
We do different things.
Yeah.
You know, we come together now and again.
It's interesting, though, how you kind of created, your passion out of things that you really love, like Hong Kong cinema, Bruce Lee.
It was in the right place,
the right time, and you.
And I'm a doer. I create things. A lot of people talk, but I'm more of a show. I'm a people person. I'm out there.
So you put yourself out there, and you created your own business for yourself.
And and we saw the potential. We put the documentary together for the BBC Two Night of Kung Fu. If you looked at my CV, first people to put subtitle films Kung Fu out, first people to this, we've done a lot of firsts. First people to get Shaw Brother films onto the shelf outside of Warner Brothers. So
wow, Ricky, you really did a lot, man. I wasn't even aware of half these things, and I've been in the industry for so long now.
We did the Bruce Lee conventions. We had Bruce and Jackie road shows. I was writing in Combat magazine. I made a name for myself pretty quick.
Oh, you were one of the writers for Combat magazine at the time that was coming out?
Yeah.
Oh, those were some good issues that came out.
And so I did and I was the one who started off the missing scene with the Bruce Lee chopping him dead, and now that lives. And let me just tell you, it doesn't exist. It was shot, it was filmed.
Come on, give people some hope here!
And if you think you've seen it in your Mandela effect, because we see the sword go up, we see the guy go, your brain's filling in the rest of it.
So you don't think it exists at all?
The incredible heroics of Bruce Lee. Every limb of his body is a lethal weapon. Introducing the incredible heroics of Bruce Lee. Every limb of his body is a lethal weapon against an army of men.
And guys, again, if any of you guys have this missing saw scene, I know there's a lot of fans out there who would love to see this. And I know there's a DVD or video out there that shows the missing saw scene. We just have to find it. And it's requested all over the internet. And I don't have it in my collection, and I would love to see that scene. But this is the scene from that. And
it was filmed. It doesn't exist.
But you don't think it ever came out where people... I have fans that say, hey, I saw it in the 70s.
No, because
I remember seeing it.
Let me tell you what it's like. That scene is so quick. And so you see the sword go back, you see him do that, and then the guy's down. It's a split second. Your brain is filling it in. You believe it's got in there. And if that for people, if I'm a video shop, no, you didn't, because if you did, you got 30 grand waiting for you. You know what I mean?
So you think it was filmed, but you don't think it ever was released?
Raymond cut that out before it went to cinema.
So no one has ever seen it then?
If you look at The Big Boss was never... If you look at the premiere night with Bruce Lee, there's no photographs of it. It's only the premiere they did with the kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the photographs from the premiere.
But later on, you saw lobby cars where you actually see the saw.
No, because it was photographed and it was filmed.
but it would
never
would-
made it to the screen.
Wow, interesting information, man. Because people to this day believe that some collector has it
Listen,
somewhere and that it's going to be released.
Anybody can say it. Prove me wrong.
There we go. Right in, man. Prove Ricky wrong.
tell you what,
I want to hear it in the comments.
I'll put £1,000 to the first person who can take a black and white shot of it. It doesn't exist. I've even sat with Raymond Chow. That's enough for me.
Yeah.
And I watched the Big Boss with him.
Wow. Okay.
So-
hey, man, getting it from the source here.
You know, so
wow.
So
Interesting stuff.
People believe, but you know, at the end of the day, it would be restored by now. You know, they
Yeah,
do that,
why would
they say it's such a nothing to the movie.
No.
It's not going to alter it. That one scene, that split second, they say, well, that's a whole different film now. It doesn't exist anymore. And no, the other bits, the brothel scene, the cart scene.
The cart scene. Do you think the cart scene exists?
I think it was there. I think if it does, Raymond buried it with him. You know.
Got ya.
It's just like this is what keeps the mystery of Bruce Lee. We never see the ATV, we never see the auction, the TV stuff, and it's all Bruce Lee. So it keeps us going. It's a bit like aliens and UFOs. The moment one lands, all those UFO channels are finished.
Yeah, it's finished
because we know they exist. The moment you see the Bruce Lee stuff, it's all gone.
It's all gone.
Once you see a rare picture, oh my God, let me show you 2 days later. Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any long
excitement, the excitement wears.
Look at that picture. I've seen so many rare Bruce Lee pictures. But you show me the next day, yeah, but I've seen that.
I've seen that one. And they want to move on to the next.
You know.
So yeah, wow, that's
the Bruce
interesting,
Lee
man.
fans are crazy.
Wow. So then, how did you get to? I know you originally started Eastern Heroes, right? And then you kind of left it for a while, and then it relived again, and now you started it up again.
Yeah,
so
I left it.
When did you start it originally? What year did you start it originally?
So I started it in '88.
And what were you putting out at the time when you started that? What were you focusing on?
We were using Jackie. Because people, when we said we had a Jackie Chan fan club, we had over 1,000 letters in 3 weeks.
Wow.
And a lot of people liked Jackie, but they were on their own. None of their family liked Kung Fu.
Yeah.
That's why it was a very big thing. We did an event. People would come down.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a lot of friendships made through me doing this. A lot of people I still talk to today that have met people. Kung Fu, the movies, have brought a lot of people together. If we didn't like this, none of us would be speaking to each other.
Yeah, it's true, man. That's true.
You know? You wouldn't know. Because I doubt so, because you've got one passion that you all like.
Yeah.
And that's what we like. But if we took that away, we didn't know it existed, we'd be sitting here saying, how's the weather then?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why so many people joined the fan clubs at the time. The what was the society that came out? The Bruce Lee Society that came out, right?
In this new issue, we just done the issue coming up, the new issue 6. We've recreated all the columns of Bruce Lee in the UK from the rare ones. So there's like 20 pages that Mike Nesbitt put in for us of all the columns, and it's quite interesting to see how people wrote
back
in
then,
the 80s and 90s, and the expectations and what was going to come. You know, and you look back now, so you could see the evolution of Bruce Lee amongst the fans before the internet, before, you know, false news, fake news.
Yeah.
You could see the
So how many years did you were you putting out Eastern Hero magazines originally? How many years did you keep it going?
I kept it going till 94, 95. I did about 20.
You did about 20 issues back then?
Plus I did some specials like for Chow Fat and John Woo. I did box sets. You know, somebody said to me, could you write CV? I said, if you saw my CV, if you knew everything, but I'm doing an autobiography right now. But we were back in the days, it's too easy now. We were back in the days when we hunted. You had to go on a plane.
Yeah,
you had to go down back streets. You had to do this, and you had to sustain it. The funniest thing that happened to me was I went to Berlin to do a film festival after they knocked the wall down. And there was a group of people outside the cinema. I mean, I've told this story many times. And amongst them was a guy called... what's the guy who does the Peter, Lord of the Rings?
Jackson.
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson
was there. And I'm walking down the road with my friend Ken Miller, and I've got a suitcase. And let me know, we'd smuggled stuff into Berlin, and we got caught at the guards with guns. They thought we were smugglers. And they opened up my case, and they found all these... And anyway, we go down the road. And as I get close to it, my suitcase opens up, and my magazine and some tapes fall out over the floor. And some German guy turns around and goes, "It is Rick Baker, the Pirate King."
Oh my God.
And they all turn around and they rush up to me. And they're picking stuff up, and after they got it, was like scavengers. My suitcase is empty, but I got a lot of mark in my hand, you know, the money. And then I'm walking down, Peter Jackson was there, who are you? I said, apparently I'm the Black Marketeer, Rick Baker. And he was there doing a film called Brain Dead, and we become quite friends. We become friends.
It's amazing how much friendship.
But will you think that until he come over to do the Lord of the Rings premiere, and I'm with Jonathan Ross. Me and Jonathan invites me because we're good friends, and we went there, and I said to him, by the way, I'm just showing off all the celebrities. I know Peter Jackson. Really? Yeah, I know him. Don't say that, Rick, if you don't mean it. Don't try and impress us. No, seriously, you know, we flew back on the plane. You know, and he said to me, go and call him over then. Bring him over here. So I wander over, and I'm going, Peter! And he's got two like things, and he turns around and he turns back, and he can't see me, it must be dark. I can see them all in the back going, whoa. Rick, last chance, don't go over there if you don't know him. I said, no, I really know him. You know? He's a friend.
He didn't acknowledge you though.
And I got over and I walked well. I said, Peter, who are you? And I said, what? Who am I? This is Rick. Do you know who I am? I'm Rick. This is Rick Baker. Yeah, we was in Berlin together. We flew home. You live in New Zealand. You know my brother. He lives in New Zealand. Blah, blah. He goes, yeah, I can't remember. And I'm too busy, and walked away.
Wow, amazing.
I got slated by Richard Norton and all of them there. Yeah, it looked like I was a liar.
Yeah, sure.
Shave your eyebrows off, Rick. You're losing face.
You figure out who your real friends are at that point, right? You knew the guy, and now he's not even acknowledging you.
It's only recently I couldn't watch one of his films. I just couldn't believe, because Tarantino, who I knew, was always good with me.
Yeah.
You know, we did festivals together. We've done, and I just thought, this goes to show you when you get to a certain level of bloody fame. I'll be the same, by the way. I'll just be the same.
So recently, you've been putting out some really nice content lately. Now, when did you start the new Eastern Heroes? What year did that start? And then
you know something, I done one. Steve Carey did a lovely issue for me in 2014, but at the time it just didn't seem to catch on.
Well, what issue was it? What was it about?
Was it Bruce Lee?
It was the number one. The first
cover
issue.
The first revamped.
Revamped. And in 2014 you started
2014, Steve did a really well put design one for me, and it didn't really work.
Wow.
I still have it. You know, it sold some, but not the way I thought it would.
Yeah.
So I let it go, and we carried on doing other stuff. And then we went to. I started up the Kung Fu Cafe. I mean, I've always been very active.
Yeah.
You know, and I always worked within the Bruce Lee stuff. And then so the real push for me came with COVID, because when it come down, just in like end of 2019 and 2020, everybody's wondering what they're going to do. And I had now talked loosely about bringing Eastern Heroes magazine back. And I thought, does anybody want to read anymore? You know, it's all online, it's all PDF downloads. But the fans still like something a little bit tangible.
They do.
Let's, something they can go and read on.
Especially collectors, they love the tangible nature of the magazine, yeah.
It's toilet reading material.
Yeah.
So they get on there, and I started to build it up and spin it and do what I've got to do, just to see, because if the first issue doesn't work, it's unlikely it's going to grow beyond that.
So what do you think, in your opinion, the response was so far? How do you rate it?
It's fantastic.
Fantastic, right? That's
so
what
far,
I think, yeah.
Since 2019, I've done, between mags and books, I've done 30.
30, yeah, because I've been seeing them come out every other week.
The reason is I'm getting old. There's a lot of stuff to put out there. You never know when your number's up. My health got knocked a bit just recently. And so you're not churning out just, let's get the money. You're just trying to put them out there, because I think people should see as much of the Bruce Lee stuff as they can. It's a very, very funny industry, in terms of what I've got and what you ain't got.
But you've been putting out some quality stuff. I mean, you did the Chinese Connection issues. Now you just put out the Enter the Dragon issues. You've really been putting out some nice quality. And you don't
because whatever thing, really, in my heart, I'm a true... I owe everything to Bruce Lee. I wouldn't be here now.
Yeah. And you're sharing it with the fans and collectors that really have an interest.
Rather than charge you $100 for a photograph, just put it in a magazine.
Yeah.
You put it in there, and you know what I like to see, that in the beginning it was all the older fans supporting it, but there are some new ones out there now.
Yeah.
So you're trying to throw that, and then we're still talking about Hong Kong cinema, even though Hong Kong cinema, in terms of today's dead. The classic stuff is still there, but I think right now, what I like is live events. You know, where people come and meet. Like we're just there in New York, and I was at the.
Is that what brought you here now? The Urban Action Showcase? Is that why you're here now? Why did you?
No, I just come to see Hector.
Oh, you go. Well, Hector, you were the man. That's why we're in your living room here.
He said, if you come to my house, Rick, you can have any 10 pieces you want.
There you go.
So
it motivated you to come here.
Yeah,
well, we're going to pick some before we leave here today. 10 items.
He said we can do it live with this blessing.
I love it.
You know, I pushed for 20.
He said only 10? All right, 10. Well, that's pretty generous. That's pretty generous.
But I can value stuff in my eyes, so I know what to go for.
You know which one to go for.
Oh, sure.
All right. So what happened at the Urban Action Showcase? Can you give us a synopsis? How was that this year?
You know, so Demetrius, the organizer, is probably one of the loveliest, nicest guys. Genuinely nicest guy. He's very spiritual. He's very religious. He's very, he cares.
Yeah.
And that whole thing he does is to try to promote and bring new youth in and other things in, and you know, so we worked with issue 5, and it's just come out now, issue 5.
Nice.
And we did the cover.
Who's on the cover of that?
So we brought, you know, we're looking at some of the old guard, some of the old school. We got Ron Van Cleef, who's coming over to the UK in a few weeks' time. We got Ron Van Cleef. You've got not everybody will know him, but if you're from my age, you've got Carl Scott, who was in Sun Dragon. He was one of the first black martial artists, alongside Jim Kelly, but he fought like the Chinese.
Yeah.
So you had him on the cover. We had the lovely Amy Johnston. We had my soul brother, and I met him for the first time on this trip, although you feel like you know him, which was Robert Samuels and his partner Jeff. And we had on there we had Bruce Lee on the cover. He's the only one not on there alive, but I just had to
He's in the center there, right? I think I've seen it.
That was promoted.
Now, you got a lot of people to sign that issue also.
Yeah, because we were doing the panel on death, and I wanted people to know, you know, this is. And I'll tell you something. The print Alan Cameron put out, whatever you're looking for, has it got new footage? Has it got Bruce Lee fighting 3 women? What's in there? What we haven't seen before? What you're seeing is a beautifully recolored palette with the John Barry soundtrack taken but cued with the beat and the heart of the film.
Nice.
Which you're lost, so it's move dun 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 dun. You know, that tension, that John Barry soundtrack is fantastic.
It really is.
And you know, even I listened to that without that, and I think, to be honest with you, I said to Alan, without that soundtrack, that film may not just about that. I say it just fuses together, those two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
You know,
I go first.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, and I don't know what Bruce would have done if he'd have lived, because that obviously came about after Bruce's death.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Raymond thought to himself, you know what, we're going to appeal to the West for this. We've had the Enter the Dragons come out. Let's make this look as Western as possible. Let's have a James Bond style opening credit. We'll just open the middle, people think it's Bruce Lee, and then for the last 11 minutes, the portion of the film you remember best, it'll be Bruce Lee. You walk out, you think you've seen Bruce Lee. Of course, we live in the UK. We got 8 minutes because it was cut for the nunchaku. So
they cut everything on you guys. I know, man.
Suffered. So yes, so you know, that was great there. I did an awards presentation for him in front of the audience.
Oh, nice.
And then of course it gave me a chance because I had a
So did they feature the Game of Death Redux over there?
It was the world premiere.
Yeah, there was the premiere.
I thought it would be there because it was in IMAX-like quality.
Oh, nice.
To see it properly with the music on a big screen. No matter if you've seen that film 1,000 times before on your TV or on your big screen, sit in a theatre and watch it. It's the only way. It was made for the cinema, and it's more like it looks like a short Bruce Lee 30-minute movie now, without the backstory.
Yeah.
And I think I appreciate it if people may have knocked on the way up there, but when you watch Bruce Lee's framing, when you see the way Bruce, you know, you got 3 people at the pagoda. 2 of them think there's something great up there because they're going to risk their life, but Bruce is on a journey. And he says, you know what I mean, I don't care if I die, you know, I don't fear death. His journey was completely different to that of the other 2.
Yeah.
Because they're racing, they must think there's something up there beyond victory of the beating.
Mm-hmm.
You've got, when it comes, they've got to see it, it's a completely well constructed. It's his version. Would Bruce have done it the same way? It's not trying to be Bruce. It's just trying to show this theme of the music.
So you approve how? Stay tuned for part 3 as we continue our interview with Rick Baker, founder of Eastern Heroes, and learn more about his Bruce Lee journey. Also hear Rick Baker discuss the Game of Death Redux produced by Alan Canvan that was shown on the big screen at the Urban Action Showcase. Hear Rick discuss the new Bruce Lee collectibles he has coming out, and much more coming soon.